I'm not sure where I stand at with this Jussie Smollett situation. And I really don't think it matters, to be honest.
Y'all already know what time it is. I got the black V-neck on.
What's going on, y'all? I am ready to talk about this whole ordeal with Jussie Smollett. Girl, it has been some time has passed by, and now the information has came out, all of the things, the court case is over with, he's found guilty of lying and all these things, and it has caused so much discourse online that I haven't even tweeted about it, to be honest. I'm like, this don't seem like it's a safe space. But let me and just go ahead and get this first part over with. I don't think that Jussie Smollett deserves any jail time or any what's name for this situation that happened. I think he's already gotten it. I think he's gotten it even before when he's a black queer man, and he's been kind of essentially cast away in Hollywood. The show that he was on, Empire, is no longer on. The only project that he's working on now, I think, is the B-Boy Blues. I don't think that Jussie Smollett is a bad person. I don't think that he's a bad person. I think that he had a stupid idea. I'm gonna go ahead and just lay it on out there. I do believe that Jussie Smollett lied. I think he did lie and craft all of this from the very beginning. I honestly believed him. I believed him 100%. 100%. As soon as the story dropped and it happened, I was like, oh girl, that happened. Oh my gosh. I was just I did videos, but I was like, yeah girl, this is a mess, and I believe in it, da-da-da-da. And then, I'm gonna tell y'all when it first kind of hey girl, I got some questions. The first time I had some questions was when he did the interview with Gayle King. And Gayle King was asking the questions and he was describing it, and I was just there was something in my spirit that was girl, I think this man is lying. It's not, I don't know. But I was okay girl, we gonna continue to support, we're gonna keep giving him the things. We gonna get to the answer. Because my thing is, whenever a victim comes out and tells their story and says what they experienced and all the other stuff, we believe them until we start, getting the facts and stuff and all that. Believe them 100%, because we can't get to the truth or whatever until we give them the power of believing them. That's when we start to offer them resources, all the stuff to get the care and everything that they need. And in the process, the truth starts to come out. So watching this whole story unfold, as bits and pieces start to come out, I was just this is not making any sense for me. I have questions. The interview sounded like he was not being truthful. I don't know. It was just some things I was it don't sound right. It don't sound right. And then when the two, black men, the old brothers is what I'm gonna call them, when they got arrested and they were called out that they were the ones who did it, I was just yep, I think he lying. I think he's lying. And it just didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense to me. And the more drip drop, which is some of the drip, a lot of the drip drop was coming from Chicago Police Department. And what's interesting about that is it was very self-serving for the Chicago Police Department, because there's been other stuff. The Chicago PD has been, under investigation for several things. So it's just y'all wasn't dropping information in. Y'all wasn't snitching and telling the truth or dropping stuff. Y'all were hiding information for a long time about cases that y'all y'all were under investigation for. Y'all were doing harm to black folks. So it's just they were going to use this as an example. They were going to use this as an example as something a PR movement. Look, we take our name, we take our very serious, and we don't and all the other stuff. But it's just if y'all took y'all stuff serious, one, y'all wouldn't be police officers. That's one. Two, y'all would be out here holding your folks on the line accountable for the things they have done, but y'all don't. it's the badge first. It's not about black folks. It's not about people. It's about the badge and protecting folks first. So this was always about protecting the badge. It was always about protecting the infrastructure, which is why all of this got to go, like, to be honest. This is why it needs to be gone, because they are very self-serving, and we're seeing that. Like, other cases where it was very serious, a black person was harmed, and like a black person lost their lives, to all type of foolish stuff that the Chicago PD and other police departments have done. There was no accountability. There was no, like, we're gonna be out here telling the truth. It's just like, y'all gonna tell us just enough so we won't tear shit down. That's what that was given. So the drip drop, but it didn't even take the drip drop for me to make sense of it, because I don't trust a lot of stuff. I go through the facts. I'm like, something's not sounding right. Something's not. And even talking to the folks, it was like, I don't see no one doing anything like that. And like, it was cold. It was like a blizzard. What was it going on? It was a frozen thing going on around that time. It's like, I don't see nobody doing that. And him just being out there late at night. Like, not to say that these things won't happen. Things like this do happen. But the way they did, and all the information, and these two brothers that were caught, who have now confessed and said, yes, we were paid and solicited by Jussie Smollett to do these things. Like, we was paid and whatever. And when they went into these brothers' house, in their apartment, like, these brothers were living in, like, the slums. Like, their apartment was disgusting. You can tell they were too, you know, like, living in poverty. Like, they were struggling. Like, they were out here struggling. I do believe that Jussie Smollett had a sexual relationship with one of them. Come to find out, they were saying that they met at, like, they were meeting at bathhouses. They were doing drugs and stuff together. I believe all of that. I do believe. One thing I do know is that the trade, they've been looking like them. When they ain't got the coin, they come through the queers to get it, girl. That's why we call them the trade, because they trade sexual favors for a coin. That's where the original name of trade came from. Like, I can see it. Not saying all of them, but like, it happens. Like, it happens. And Jussie Smollett around this time was doing pretty well. He was like, he had a whole show on Empire, and he was doing all that. He had more money. Like, the show was on this decline and everything and all that type of stuff, but he had more money than they did. And I think what bothers me a little bit is that it doesn't seem as though a lot of people are taking into account that these were two black men who were taken advantage of. And even when you listen to Jussie Smollett's lawyer, a lot of the things they were saying was anti-black. Like, it was giving very, like, girl, hold on. Like, it was trying to paint them as the aggressors or something. And I just think that Jussie Smollett did take advantage of these two guys who were, like, living in poverty, to me. I think he did take advantage of them, because they didn't know any better. They didn't know any better. They needed some coin, and they did the things and all that. And it's just, I'm not saying that Jussie Smollett, like, harmed them in a way, but he did take advantage of them. And I think the desirability is playing a little bit in this. It's just like, we can't see him doing something like this. We have this light-skinned, like, thin, curly-haired, like, desirable black man that, you know, essentially has hired these two dark-skinned, muscular men to do the work for him. It's just like, you don't see stuff like this. Like, you can't see Jussie Smollett, him looking innocent. You just don't see that. But that's how desirability works, because we are giving him grace because he looks like that. He doesn't look like the traditional villain and all that. And that stuff goes back so far. It's in all the movies and all the cartoons, all the things we watch. It's in our DNA, America's culture. Like, it is so prevalent and so strong. Like, look at all the Disney movies, and the villains are always undesirable folks doing some stuff. It's not too recently where they've started changing it up a little bit, but they're always, the voices getting very deep, they're very dark, like Scar, Ursula, Jafar, like, all of them, like, you know, give this, like, not the most beautiful out amongst the, like, the folks, like, oh my gosh. So it's just like, no, we can't see Jussie Smollett, like, doing something like this. They had to be responsible. And I think the accountability that happened, it's already happened. I don't need Jussie Smollett. I don't want to see Jussie Smollett go to jail. I didn't even want to see him found guilty. I think, like, this was a waste of time. But this was about protecting the infrastructure, the badge. This was all what this was about. Holding him accountable. It wasn't necessarily holding him accountable. It's just like, you're not going to lie on us and make it seem like that we wasn't doing our work. We got here we're gonna prove that we did our work and we proved that this person was lying and Hollywood been lying to y'all and da 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 da, and we ain't the bad guys. These are the bad folks. Like Jussie Smollett folks out here making up lies and doing stuff like that, and they're the ones causing harm. But it's like, no, they're not, because the people who make up lies and do stuff like that are very minimum compared to the actual police department in itself, who lies on black folks and say that they have weapons when they don't have them. Lies on black folks, say, well, we had to search because of this. Like there are so many times that this is really insignificant in the grand scheme of things. And I've seen some conversation where saying, Jussie Smollett did activate like black folks, trauma of like this new situation. I definitely respect that. Shout out to Fort Harriet for bringing that up, because I didn't even think about that like that. But I think me, and I think even Kimberly Foster even agrees that Jussie Smollett should not do no time. But also Jussie Smollett was wrong, and that's okay. I was a little bit irritated at folks saying, oh, well, y'all believe the police over Jussie Smollett. I really don't like that. I don't like living in the world of absolutes. Like, no, you doing that. Like, you believe the police. You believe the police. No, I can. Both of these things can exist. The police can give F the police, and I don't believe the police. And I also don't believe Jussie Smollett. Like, I also don't believe him either. So it's like two things can exist, and I really don't like how folks are running with it and just trying to like guilt trip folks to make them feel bad. It's like, no, I'm not saying that Jussie Smollett needs to go to jail. I don't think he needs to be thrown away and all that, or be sued to the whatever. I do think that he lied about that, and I think that in the process of that, he took advantage of two black folks, and I feel like folks are forgetting that. Like, I feel like people are forgetting, like these two black boys who were living in poverty, like they were roommates and all this other stuff. Like, you seen their apartments, how dirty it was, and then you also saw Jussie Smollett's apartment. What didn't make sense for me, and I'm on the side of the black juror just a little bit, is that it didn't make sense for me for him to still be wearing the noose, like showing it to police. One thing about people who tell lies, they over-exaggerate the narrative when it's not needed. It's like, hey, did you eat some cookies? Because the cookies are empty. No, I didn't eat no cookies because I was at the movies at 2 o'clock and I got back at 4 o'clock, and then I wasn't even thinking about cookies. And first of all, I'm allergic to cookies. It's just like, all you have to do is say, no, I ain't eat them cookies. Like, I didn't have no cookies. But sometimes people, they will boast it up because they know that they're lying. They know in their minds they're lying. So they have to prove it to themselves. So that's what was going on. But then, like, he was over exaggerating the story because it wasn't believable to him. And somebody walking around like trying to like hang you with a noose and all that other stuff. I just don't see anyone wearing it all the way to the police comment. I just don't see that. Like, there have been people who have experienced like trauma and stuff, like they just jump out, they do stuff, like there's just a natural response, like your body's like, get this off of me. Like, if you are in true danger, it's like, oh my gosh, get this off of me, like do this and that. Like, people would do certain things to like survive, and I just don't see someone who's experienced something like that, something that's triggering, something that's traumatizing, still keep that around their neck and walk. I just don't see that. But he did that because he needed to prove the point, like, here's the noose right here, and that's how I feel. And just look at all the things, like it was just so interesting seeing the discourse online about it. Like, folks were really like, y'all believe the police department, y'all know Chicago PD is messed up and they're not believable. Yes, I don't. But I also have a working brain, and I can also process information, and I can also, sift through bullcrap. And that's what it was giving from the beginning. It was like, this is bullcrap. It's bullcrap from both folks, because I know Chicago PD is holding him accountable even more because they want to prove a point and they want to protect their image, their brand, their everything, the police department. And I also think that Jussie Smollett was using this as an opportunity to make some money off of, like, look, I'm a victim. Because, ooh, that's a conversation y'all not ready for, but I might have it one day on Patreon, child. Subscribe to Patreon, child. But it's something that me and my friends been talking about. That is some stuff that I'm starting to notice with some stuff, but it's a very serious conversation. But yeah, like, Jussie Smollett wanted to use this opportunity to bring his name, like, to be a victim, or like, what's the name of this crime, is something that was brought on him, and now he's using this, like, he was the gay Tupac, he was all that stuff. Like, girl, what's going on, girl? It's getting uncomfortable. It's giving Like, you know, I know everybody deals with things differently, but it just didn't seem authentic. It just didn't seem authentic. So for me, I know that Jussie Smollett was not being truthful. I don't think he's a bad person. I think he was just down bad. I think that he expected his career to take off. I think he expected his career to just do the things. Look, Jussie Smollett's very attractive, desirable man. There was no reason for him not to take off and all that stuff, but it wasn't necessarily happening. Like, it wasn't happening as fast as he wanted to. And he was just confused by that. So he took advantage of something to try to make it into something big, and it just wasn't giving. But I don't like the whole, thing around it and how they're trying to punish him, and it's just way too much for me. It's just not that serious. Nobody was harmed physically. Like, let's move on. Let's just move on. I don't put him in jail for what? Like, it's just, girl, come on now. So just let you know what is truly at stake and what's truly going on. But that's my thoughts on that. I just want to do a video because a lot of folks have been asking me what are my thoughts on it, all that, and I want to talk about it. Let me know what you thought. Be honest in the comments. And I don't mind having a discussion about it. Like, what do you think about the folks who were saying, for people who don't believe Jussie Smollett, what do you think about folks saying, oh, y'all believe the police department, y'all believe the police? I really didn't like that. I really don't like that. So comment that. Also, for the folks who are saying, no, I believe Jussie Smollett, let me know why you believe him. Why is it? Let me know in the comments. We've done a video about this a couple years ago. It was an in the middle video. I will try to link it in the comments for you all to be able to see it. But that's all I got. I love y'all so much. Until next time, I'll talk to y'all later tonight. Bye.